Can Townie sing this song? Doo-da, doo-da. Canton corruption all day long. Oh, doo-da day. I'm not entirely sure that this untold story requires much narration from me, although I am sure that you all prefer to hear my voice droning on than Lally's, but bear with me for the purpose of the exercise. If you didn't follow the trial, this is probably a great video to introduce yourself to what happened between opening statements and closing statements. Jam-packed between Lally's rattling off 75 witnesses, or however many it was, in his 40-minute opening statement, was this little nugget.
We'll hear some testimony from Trooper Joseph Paul. He's in a specialized unit within the state police called PARS for short, but essentially a collision analysis and reconstruction section within the Massachusetts State Police. His examination of the vehicle, his examination of the scene, his examination of specifically some Toyota texture, because Lexus is essentially owned by Toyota or vice versa. So there is some data that he's able to recover from that and back the vehicle up based on its known locations and travel, key cycles, and essentially he'll opine that around 12:45 in the morning, when the vehicle was in front of the residence on Fairview, that for some perceptible period of time, that vehicle travels over 60 feet in reverse at over approximately 24.2 miles per hour.
So there you have it from Lally's own mouth that the incident happened at 12:45 in the morning. By witness number 64, we had heard multiple testimonies from people saying that they saw Karen's car outside of the Alberts house at 12:45 a.m. According to my logs, witness number 64 was Trooper Joseph Paul, who was testifying the following day after Lieutenant Brian Tully had blown a hole in the timeline. And so Trooper Paul's testimony got off to a pretty rocky start.
So on Saturday, January 29th, 2022, at approximately 12:45.
So you can look at your report, but you can't read your report.
I'm just reading my conclusions based on what they asked me to do. Okay.
Yeah. So I can't hear you.
Sorry.
Okay. So just take your time, read your report, and then answer Mr. Lally's question. And if you need to look at your report, we'll see about that again.
All right.
Ask the question, Mr. Lally.
Based on the totality of your investigation, what, if any, conclusions did you come to with regard to how this collision occurred?
So this collision occurred on Saturday, January 29th, 2022, at approximately 12:45 hours.
Objection, Your Honor.
Yeah.
It appears that.
So,
Sorry, I'm trying to oppose it.
You know what? Mr. Lally, break this down. Ask
Yes, please.
simple questions so that the witness can answer your questions. We don't need a narrative.
From your investigation, what, if any, conclusions did you come to as to where this collision occurred?
So, all right. So on the night of Saturday, January 29th, 2022, at approximately 12:45 hours, a 2021 Lexus LX 570.
Could you slow down, sir?
So, yes.
So forget all that part,
Okay.
Trooper.
All
Just
right.
answer the question.
Okay.
Where did it occur?
It occurred in the area of 34 Fairview Road.
You could be forgiven for thinking the judge was pissed because he was reading his report. First she says, don't read your report, and then she says, okay, now read your report, and then if you need to read your report, we can come back to that. So yeah, I think she even tripped herself up there. And I don't think she was pissed because he was reading the report. It seems more like they were trying to stop him from saying the time because obviously he didn't get the memo that they'd changed the time due to Lieutenant Tully's testimony. And what was the clue that they changed the time? Somewhere between Tully and Trooper Paul's testimonies. Some may have cottoned on a bit quicker than me, but for me, it was the closing arguments.
At 12:30 a.m., you have that second triggering event 8 minutes after the three-point turn when the vehicle's in reverse at 24.2 miles an hour.
Well, I do believe that's what Lally would call the two-card Monty trick, right? Right up until Trooper Dunning-Kruger's testimony, he was maintaining it was 12:45 a.m. Even Trooper Dunning-Kruger was saying 12:45 a.m. And yet here we are at closing, he's saying 12:30 a.m. And if you're paying attention during the trial, you would know that's because Karen logged onto John's Wi-Fi system at 12:36, and that blew apart the 12:45 theory. And the whole point of not having any timestamps to go with the text stream data was so that they could shuffle it to any time of the day or night that they feel like it. And the complete destruction of the black box totally ensured that nobody was going to track down a time. Oh yes, there's one more little detail that we all missed. Shout out to Joe Flipperhead for this video snippet.
12:23 a.m. is when the defendant conducts a three-point turn on Cedar Crest and travels back toward Fairview. At 12:30 a.m., you have that second triggering event 8 minutes after the three-point turn when the vehicle is in reverse at 24.2 miles an hour. 12:23, triggering event 8 minutes after the three-point turn when the vehicle is in reverse at 24. At 12:30 a.m.
Something ain't adding up here, is it?
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
Have a seat, Mr. Lally.
Tick, tick, boom.
But hey, who's quibbling over a whole minute in a murder investigation? Except, of course, when you add that minute to the other few minutes that they got wrong in the Waze timestamps, it's kind of adding up to a lot of minutes that they have miscalculated here. Anyway, the whole point of the video is to show you that Lally switched it up somewhere between Tully and closing arguments, hoping that the jury wouldn't notice. And wouldn't you know it, the jury didn't notice. So what's the tally now? Trooper Dunning-Kruger can't do basic physics, let alone count backwards in sequential order. Lieutenant Tully, or someone, is unable to add up time. And Lally can't even count to freaking 3.
I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him.
Remember all the testimony from witnesses who said Karen said, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him 3 times. Yet somehow Lally came up with 4. I'm thinking all these people need to go back to grade school. I mean, she's.